Hello everyone, it's Scott, and I'm back with my top 15 rares from Tarkir Dragonstorm. This is a hard list to make. There were so many good cards in the set that I thought had a chance to see some standard play. So I won't be surprised if we see more than 15 cards really seeing play in standard from Tarkir Dragonstorm. But before we get into the list, remember to like and subscribe to get further content like this throughout Tarkir Dragonstorm season and beyond. And if you're looking for cards from the set, you can check us out on the web at caffeinatedgamers.tcgplayerpro.com to get all the cards you might need from the set. So let's dive into my top 15 rares from Tarkir Dragonstorm. So coming in at 15, I have Inevitable Defeat. For 1 and Mardu colors, you get an instant, and this spell can't be countered. Exile target non-land permanent, its controller loses 3 life, and you gain 3 life. So it's got that drain and gain ability on it. And the reason I think this will see some play is you can't counter it. So that means it's going to go through some things that, like ward cost or things like that. And because of that, I've got it rated as the 15th best rare from the set. Coming in at number 14, I've got Awaken the Honored Dead. For Sultai colors, you get an enchantment. That's a saga. On chapter 1, you get to destroy target non-land permanent, which I think is a very powerful ability in the current standard meta. You get to mill on chapter 2 3 cards. On chapter 3, you may discard a card. When you do, return target creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. And I'm looking at this as chapter 1 for 3 mana to destroy any non-land permanent. I think that's an on-rate value in standard. And we do have a lot of graveyard strategies currently in standard, so I think this is just another way of milling a few more cards into your graveyard and then getting back one that you really want that's been in the graveyard. At number 13, I've got Glacier Wood Siege. For 1, a green and a blue mana, you get an enchantment, and as this enchantment enters, you get to choose Temur or Sultai. If you choose Temur, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, target player mills 4 cards. Or if you choose Sultai, you may play lands from your graveyard. So this is a card that I think is in a mill deck. This is a great card to play. You play an instant or sorcery, your opponent mills those 4 cards. In a Sultai deck where you're playing probably a graveyard strategy as well, but you're putting stuff into the graveyard, well, then you get to play additional lands from your graveyard. And because of that, I think this is going to see some standard play. Coming in at number 12, I have Yathan Road Watcher. For 1 in Abzan colors, you get a human scout. That's a 3/3. And when this creature enters the battlefield, if you cast it, mill 4 cards. When you do, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it's not going to always be a guarantee that you're going to get a 3 mana creature back to the battlefield, but a lot of times I think in the right build you will. And because of that, Yathan Road Watcher, I feel, is going to have a place in standard. Next, at number 11, I've got Windcrag Siege. For 1, a red and a white mana, you get an enchantment, and as this enchantment enters the battlefield, you get to choose Mardu or Jeskai. If you choose Mardu, if a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. If you choose Jeskai, at the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. It gains lifelink and haste until end of turn. So I like that ability to create a creature every turn if you choose Jeskai. And if you're playing a deck that has a lot of triggered abilities, hey, there's an attack trigger. Mobilize is the trigger that I think is going to be the one that we're most likely going to see being very valued in standard. Well, then you get to double those triggers. And because of that, I think Windcrag Siege is going to see a bunch of play in standard. Coming in at number 10, I have Sarak, Elusive Hunter. For 2 and a green mana, you get a human warrior. That's a 4/3. This spell can't be countered, and again, that's a very important ability. he has trample, and when a creature you control or a creature spell you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you get to draw a card. And I think the ability to draw the cards here is very valuable in standard, especially given the current meta that we're seeing. So even if your opponent just targets this from removal, you're going to get a replacement for it. And if your opponent is going to end up targeting other things, then I think this is a card that is going to potentially snowball you into victories in standard. Next at number 9 is Zurgo, Thunder's Decree. For Mardu colors, you get a legendary creature that's an orc warrior and is a 2/4 with mobilize 2. And during your end step warrior tokens you control have this token can't be sacrificed. And that's the thing that really excites me about Zurgo here is you're going to be able to create, when he attacks, you're going to get 2 1/1 red warrior creature tokens. And because of that, I think immediately the value of that is going to be snowballing in standard. And if you put in a War Leader's Call or something like that, every time those cards enter the battlefield, or creatures are going to enter the battlefield, you're just going to keep growing your board. And if we have War Leader's Call or something else that's going to give a boost to all those 1/1 red warrior creature tokens, then I think Zurgo is going to be incredibly powerful and important in the format, and because of that, I've got him ranked at number 9. Coming in at number 8 is Sarkhan, Dragon Ascendant. For 1 and a red mana, you get a legendary creature that's a human druid and is a 2/2. And when Sarkhan enters the battlefield, you may behold a dragon. If you do, create a treasure token. Whenever a dragon you control enters the battlefield, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on Sarkhan, and until end of turn, Sarkhan becomes a dragon in addition to its other types and gains flying. So Sarkhan, I think, is going to be, a card that is going to be at the lower mana cost in our dragon deck. Any dragon deck that's going to be in red, I think, is going to have Sarkhan in it, because he's going to ramp you with that treasure token, on turn 2 or turn 3 whenever you play him. And because of that, I feel he's going to be important to getting the dragons you want into play earlier than you would otherwise. That's why I've got him at number 8. Coming in at number 7, I've got Voice of Victory. For 1 and a white mana, you get a human bard. That's a 1/3. It's got mobilize 2, and your opponent can't cast spells during your turn. So I really like, 2 mana, 1/3. It's not going to die to a lot of the lower power stuff in standard. Now, obviously, it's going to die to removal. But if you can attack with this a few times, and if you have something like War Leader's Call down with it, then you attack with it. Hey, now you're attacking with a couple of creatures that are 2/2s, and I feel like that's going to be good enough in standard. And I really believe that the ability to prevent your opponent from casting spells on your turn is very important in standard, because we've got a lot of decks that want to play on your turn. They don't want to play on their turn, and this forces them to. So they don't have removal for this, then it's going to be hard for them to interact with you on your turn. And because of that, I think this is the 7th best rare from the set. Coming in at number 6, I've got Frostcliff Siege. For 1, a blue, and a red mana, you get an enchantment. And as this enchantment enters the battlefield, you get to choose Jeskai or Temur. Jeskai, whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you get to draw a card. Really powerful ability on the enchantment. And in Temur colors, if you choose that, creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample and haste. And that's the ability that I'm really excited about on this card. Currently, the mouse package is in Gruul colors or Boros colors, but I think it's going to shift towards the Izzet setup, because, or even a Jeskai setup, because of abilities like this. Everything you have now is going to have haste. So if you're creating stuff, it gets haste. If you're casting things that don't have haste, they gain haste. And because of that, I really feel like this is a very, very powerful card. for standard. Coming in at number 5, I've got Herd Heirloom for 1 and a green mana. You get an artifact and you can tap it for 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell. And why wouldn't you want to do that? And you can also tap it in until end of turn. Target creature you control with power 4 or greater gains trample. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you get to draw a card. So Herd Heirloom, I think, is going to be included in a bunch of decks. So any deck that's going to be playing green, and if you're a creature-based deck, I think you're playing Herd Heirloom. And the reason is very simple. You're going to be able to use that mana to ramp into your dragons or ramp into the bigger creatures we already have in Standard. And because of that, I feel this is going to be a very, very popular card in Standard. At number 4, I've got United Battlefield for 3 and a white mana. You get a sorcery. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put up to 2 non-creature, non-land permanent cards with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So this could be artifacts. This could be enchantments. It could be even a planeswalker, because we do have some 3 mana planeswalkers or less. So as long as it's not a creature, then you can play whatever you want. Okay, the card that people are comparing this to is Collected Company, but this is Collected Company for non-creatures. And because of that, I think there's so many really good spells that are permanents in Standard right now that I don't think you can go wrong with this card. Coming in at number 3, I've got Clarion Conqueror for 2 and a white mana. You get a dragon. It's a 3/3 with flying, and activated abilities of artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers can't be activated. So I'm not 100% sure this is going to be in every white deck's main deck, but I'm certain that in sideboards this is going to be a very important card, and because of that, this is, in my mind, one of the best rares from the set. 3 mana dragon, very powerful, and it activates our Mox Jasper and other things, and you can do that as early as maybe turn 2 if you're playing it in Abzan colors or some combination that's going to get you white and green. So I think this is going to be a really, really powerful card in Standard. Coming in at number 2, I've got Temur Battlecrier. Okay, it comes in Temur colors. It's an Orc Ranger for 3. And during your turn, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. So this is going to be, in my mind, the card that is going to enable those 5 and 6 mana spells to become very, very cheap, especially when we look at the fact that many of them are only going to cost, a couple of specific mana types. So hey, it's a couple of red mana, maybe a green and a blue, or just those 3, and then you've got enough creatures already on the field that are of 4 power or greater. It's just going to make the cost of those really come down to almost only being whatever required color types those creatures are going to be. And I don't think Temur Battlecrier is limited to a dragon deck. I think this is going to be good in any deck that you're playing that's going to have those colors in it. So that's why I've got it ranked as number 2. And at number 1, I have Narset, Jeskai Waymaster. For Jeskai colors, you get a legendary creature that's a human monk and is a 3/4. In the beginning of your end step, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw cards equal to the number of spells you've cast this turn. And I think Narset is going to be one of the most broken cards from the set, because I don't feel it's going to be very hard to cast 2-3 spells every single turn. And because of that, You don't have to discard your hand if you've got stuff in your hand you want to hold on to, but many times I think you're going to be discarding your hand and just drawing additional cards every single turn. And because of that, I think Narset is going to be one of the most powerful cards in Standard moving forward. All right, thanks for staying to the end of the video. Those are my top 15 rares from Tarkir Dragonstorm. Tell me what you think in the comments. Hey, did I get some of these right? Did I get some of them wrong in your mind? Do you like some things better? And I'll be back tomorrow with a top list of uncommons from the set. And I'd appreciate it if you leave us a like and subscribe, so that way I'm trying to get to that 300 subscriber level. So if you could help me out, I'd appreciate that. And I'll be back tomorrow with more Tarkir Dragonstorm. Thanks. I'll see you next time.